Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Chad Franzen giving you an update here as we head into the next couple of days and for the rest of the afternoon. Obviously, the big thing has been our severe weather threat that we've had the last couple of days, and that's coming to an end, at least for the time being. But we're still in this clammy and very wet weather pattern that's going to stay with us going into the next several days. And severe weather threat, while it has diminished for the next 48 hours, we will have a chance for some stronger storms on Friday, and especially toward southwestern Wisconsin. That would include the Marshfield area. We'll talk more on that in a second. Here's a look, first of all, at all the different flash flooding watches, warnings, and all that good stuff. We're going to kind of go through some of the river stages and some of the flooding here that's actively occurring at this time. So we have the flood warning on in the county of Wapaka. This really is going to be overall for multiple counties, multiple areas, and multiple rivers. But as you can see, most of it is either the Yellow River, the Wisconsin River is also part of this, and then the Wolf River are the big ones that have all the different flood watches and warnings along with them as well. Here's a look at some of the river stages across central Wisconsin at Rothschild. Right now, the latest stage is 24.2. The crest was early this morning at 25.9. This is right along and near the Rothschild Dam. Then river stage in New London, Wolf River, crest should be 11.1. That'll be sometime, I think more so Friday night into Saturday morning. The record, though, 11.8. When you see numbers like this and the crest is close to the record, it's not that close. It's not what you think. Like if you're playing in sports and you're like, oh, I missed throwing that shot put by 4 inches. When you're talking river stages and records versus crests, that 0.7 feet difference there of what is expected, that's a very large logarithmic type thing. So basically, in the number scheme, yes, it kind of looks close, but in the overall scheme of things, it really isn't. So that doesn't mean it's a great thing by any means. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the crest within 0.7 feet of the record isn't as close as someone may think. Having said that, we still have a lot of issues with water across central Wisconsin. Radar, thankfully, is dry right now. We are anticipating a little bit of shower activity today, and more so going into tomorrow, and even Friday will be the wetter day. But for right now, the cloudy, damp conditions across central Wisconsin and the fog up across the Northwoods that continues at this hour. Temperatures right now, 45 in Rhinelander. Look how warm it is in southeastern Wisconsin. That is where they're still going to have some strong storms today. Madison and the Milwaukee area, southern Wisconsin, hammered by storms last night. Unfortunately, under the gun for some stronger storms today. Our storm threat does exist up toward about the Wausau area, but anything this far north of the warm front would not be of severe weather criteria. Although, again, as we always mention, the threat from lightning would be our biggest concern. Dew points, look at this variety in the range. The Northwoods in the more stable area, low 40s there. Still, I don't want to say soupy weather from the Dalles Prairie to Shane, Milwaukee, where the dew points are 60, but it is noticeably more humid. And as we've always talked about, storms like to get to the warm, unstable air. They like to try to live, so to speak. So the warmer and more humid, unstable air, the better chance for storms. That's why, again, today, it's going to exist in southern Wisconsin. Lows this morning, 30s, 40s, and 50s. Right now, atmosphere is recharging pretty quickly already as of the late morning hours. And normally we see the atmosphere, it can recharge in the mid to late morning hours. It usually doesn't happen until July. So this is a very dynamic system, and it's got a lot of information along with it. One is the upper level low sitting over the Dakotas and Nebraska, and the warm front stretched out ahead of it. That is where we are going into today. 71 in Kansas City, 64 in Chicago this hour. International Falls a bit cooler at 40, but almost all of the upper Midwest temperatures are already well above the seasonal average for this time of year. And this is going to continue for most of the upper Midwest until we get around to this upcoming weekend. Notice, so look at North Dakota. The average high will be close to that in Grand Forks tomorrow. But notice Friday cooling off and substantially colder than the seasonal average for North Dakota by Friday. We will see that in central Wisconsin Saturday and Sunday. So while it's warm and somewhat humid for the rest of this week, we are looking at a substantial change going into the weekend. Today, cloudy skies, slight chance for showers, better chance the farther south you go. Highs today in the 60s, maybe only the upper 50s across the far north. And the fog factor, you thought it was bad this morning. I think tomorrow morning should be equally as bad. We will have issues with fog again Friday and maybe a little bit on Saturday as, again, more humidity comes pushing in to central Wisconsin. Next 48 hours, relatively quiet weather north of the Wausau area for the rest of today. Showers, maybe some thunderstorms Wausau southward for the rest of today into tonight. Fog tomorrow morning, a quiet start to the day. Slight chance for showers in the morning hours. I do anticipate those would wind down very quickly. And for most of Thursday, day shouldn't be half bad as we're back in the upper 60s, the low 70s. Friday morning, areas of fog. Friday afternoon, showers and storms becoming likely. This is a very strong cold front coming through for Friday into Saturday. With the dynamics in the upper Midwest we have had and are expecting, right now, Friday we'll be monitoring for the possibility of a first alert weather day due to the potential for some very strong thunderstorms. As I mentioned in particular, the Marshfield Point and Rapids area, that will be kind of where we'll be most focused. But keep in mind, it's a couple days out, so if this trends a little farther northward, it would include a strong storm threat for the Wausau area. Having said that, we do have that chance for some very strong thunderstorms. We're monitoring for the possibility of a first alert weather day being needed for Friday for that strong to severe storm potential. Again, the Marshfield, Rapids, and Point areas would be kind of where we're most concerned. But if we get a little sunshine in the morning hours and temperatures come back into the mid-70s instead of low 70s, I can see us having to extend that risk right up into the Wausau area. And again, we'll be monitoring this for the possibility of first alert weather day coming up for Friday. Travel forecast after Friday, it's blustery and cold for the upcoming weekend. Average high this time of year is in low 50s. We are going to struggle to get to low 40s for daytime highs on Saturday and Sunday. I'm not going to rule out some flurries Saturday night into Sunday morning across the Northwoods. And then staying a bit cool going back to work on Monday. We're back in the 50s, low 50s at best. And we'll start to see an improvement in the weather pattern for Tuesday and Wednesday as highs slide back into the upper 50s and eventually some low 60s with a few more showers toward the end of next week. Excessive rainfall outlook. This is a % chance that we would exceed enough rainfall to cause additional flooding concern. While we don't have much of a shower chance for today, anything obviously that would fall in those swollen river areas of Juneau, Adams, Waushara, Wapaka counties would cause some possibly cause some problems. Not much of an issue going into Thursday, and then Friday, showers and thunderstorms. And because the thunderstorms will become more widespread on Friday, potential would be obviously for the heavier downpours at times. Hence why there's a marginal risk for the rainfall. This is an amount of rainfall to cause even more conditions to even worse conditions to happen on area rivers and lakes. So that is what we'll also be watching for Friday. In addition to the strong to severe storm potential, would be the possibility of some additional flooding as we get into this upcoming Friday. Next 7 days, most of this rainfall expected. It will be coming really overall on Friday. There are small shower chances for the rest of today and Thursday. Friday is where we'd see the bulk of this inch or 2 inches of rainfall. And again, areas that have already problems with standing water, Shawano, Wapaka, Marathon, and Portage counties in particular. Juneau and Adams is now added to that. Got to be careful with this as we go into the rest of this week. Now, 7-day forecast, we do see the milder temperatures returning briefly on Friday with showers and stronger thunderstorms a possibility. Saturday and Sunday, a brief cool down, but it will be noticeably cooler. People ditching jackets here for today, tomorrow, and Friday. Grab them. You'll need them Saturday and Sunday. And for anybody that kind of jumped the gun and went ahead and started planting things, if you have stuff that has come up out of the ground, you'll have to cover it up on Saturday and Sunday mornings. While we don't get overnight lows in the mid-20s very often in the end of April, it is going to happen. It'll be noticeably damp out there, and there would be enough frost probably to kill anything that has come above ground that is relatively new. If you've been greenhousing it for a month or two, you're probably going to be okay, because our nighttime hours where we get into these below freezing, below 32-degree temperatures, it's a narrower window now. It's most of our overnight lows are happening in a 3-hour window or less. And that's because we have 13 hours of daylight plus right now. In the wintertime, it's the exact opposite. And so when it's just cold, it's downright cold. So again, if you jump the gun and have newer vegetation seedlings coming up, you're going to have to cover them up this weekend if you want to keep them going. Otherwise, again, it's mid-April. Maybe you jump the gun a little bit. Unless you're greenhousing it, that's a little different story as well. So thanks for logging on this. It's Wednesday. Boy, this week is really kind of, I don't know if it's going slow or fast. I hope for you it's going fast if you wanted to, slow if it's not. It just seems like it's just kind of breezing on by. Our bigger issue right now, flood potential that still exists out there for the rest of today. Fog on the overnight periods for the next several mornings, especially for Thursday and Friday mornings. Blustery conditions this weekend. Friday, severe storm potential, possibly needing a first alert weather day, and then we'll get a little bit better weather going into next week. Highs will steady out in the lower to middle 60s by the time we get around next Wednesday and Thursday, and a relatively dry stretch of weather coming up as well. Thanks for logging on today on this Wednesday, April 15th. I believe it's tax day today. I hope I did mine. I think I did. Anyway, hope you're having a great day. Stay tuned for more updates. Download the latest First Alert Weather app. And as always, this is the middle of Severe Weather Awareness Week in Wisconsin. We've done multiple stories on how to stay safe during the severe weather season, which this year has, I don't want to say it started early. You think back 15 years ago, we had the Merrill tornado on April 10th. So, and we have had a confirmed tornado now in the Taylor County area from Monday. And then one down in Juneau County likely will get confirmed later today from last night. And we'll see. The Weather Service in La Crosse that's responsible for that part of the area in Wisconsin, they have a severe weather threat from, they've had it since Sunday. They had the tornadoes Monday and Tuesday. They have a severe weather threat today. And it's the National Weather Service office. There's not an oodles amount of people there. So right now, we'll get preliminary tornado damage and damage reports out of maybe a little bit more out of Taylor, but there probably won't be much more out of Taylor County. Juneau County may be a little different story, but overall, more additional information may not come for another day or two because of the National Weather Service and La Crosse just being busy with the day-to-day severe weather threat. And then keep in mind, La Crosse, when we have our severe weather threat on Friday, it really will hammer southwestern Wisconsin. So again, I don't get impatient with that kind of stuff. People may say, well, why did you get tornado information 5 days after the fact? It's because the National Weather Service is very busy, especially in the severe weather season, with repeated chances of severe weather. And the National Weather Service on La Crosse to Gilman, Jump River, and Hannibal and Taylor County, which is their cover warning area, Seaway, is just over 2 hours drive. And then they have to spend the whole day there and come back. So, again, if you see additional tornado damage or additional damage reports pop up that get confirmed by the Weather Service and they happen days after the event, it's probably because they're just busy trying to handle the rest of the day-to-day stuff that does happen this time of year. If the weather was slower, there'd probably be a lot more resources available for them to get out there and check things. Right now, the weather has been terribly active in southern Wisconsin. Last night, Madison, baseball-sized hail. Milwaukee, large hail. Still looking at the different parts of damage in southern Wisconsin. That's National Weather Service in Milwaukee. They have multiple survey crews that have to go out today because the next round of severe weather could cause additional damage, and they got to get the site surveys done in time. Jeremy Taven's got a story coming up on this about insurance and how this all works. That's why the Weather Service sometimes has to go very quickly. In the case of the Taylor County tornado from Monday night, not much of a severe weather threat. So again, Weather Service can, I don't want to say take their time. It's not, has to be done immediately. In southern Wisconsin, where another round of severe weather will become likely tonight into tomorrow, the survey teams will try to get out there and discern what happened last night so that if additional damage happens tonight, they can note that and track that. And it's all, some of it has to do with insurance, but a lot of it has to do with record keeping and how to get better when it comes to forecasting and performing during severe weather season, which is something that the benchmark is set for the National Weather Service. So there's a lot of stuff going on into it. But again, the overall thing is if we get additional damage reports days after the fact, especially from the La Crosse National Weather Service area and now Milwaukee, is because they're very busy. Severe weather season is there right now, and they do have severe weather threats for the next 3 days. For us here in central Wisconsin, not much of a severe weather threat until we get around to Friday. So Green Bay handles most of our National Weather Service offices. But now keep in mind, Green Bay is covering most of the counties that have all the flooding going on right now. So they're also equally as busy that time of year. Calmer days are ahead. Look at that. Next week, some sunshine, 50s and 60s. It'll feel very nice. We'll be back to our kumbaya namaste moment. Thanks for logging on. Have yourselves an awesome, fabulous day. Stay tuned, as always, for more updates and download the latest First Alert Weather app.